Now, so I'm just going to say BauApp. It's good with, you have also your branding and your shirt, so I don't even have to take a look at the agenda. So stage is yours. Guys, some round of applause just to, give some energy.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes, perfect. Yeah, so we all live in apartments, right? We're not homeless, so we all need buildings. So construction is actually the largest industry in the world. And we focus on digitizing the construction industry. It's the least digitized industry in the world. Even though there's a lot of capital, a lot of technology in it, the actual process of building a house, whether it's a museum or an apartment, is actually not digital. So this is one of the biggest opportunity in enterprise software. They call it Contech or PropTech, whatever. We are digitizing construction. And with BauApp, we started a couple years ago. We actually won a prize. We started the company in Hungary. We won a prize in Poland as well for the best PropTech product. So what do? Actually, I've never seen such a high rate of interest from clients to any products. Almost all companies, all construction companies, want to buy the following products. So one is document management, so basically managing blueprints. A building like this had probably 10,000 blueprints, each in 5 or 10 different revisions, and it's a chaos how they are distributed and who approved it, who didn't approve it. In the end, people end up building things that they shouldn't build, and then they have to build it down and redo it. So a lot of money wasted with bad document management. The second thing is issue management. So how do you manage all the mistakes, the tasks, and so forth? Then where's your equipment? And the last thing is material. So 60% of any building is material, and there is roughly 1 million types of building materials in a given market. And there's basically no warehousing solution for that. So most builders don't know how much material they have on site, how much they actually have built in, how much they are expected to ship. So to digitize this will change the game in construction. Just one example. So for example, with our solution, when the supplier issues a delivery note, the supplier is integrated to BauApp, and they put a little QR code on the delivery note. The delivery note in Europe has to be on paper. So they bring a paper with the product. Then the guy in the construction can read the QR code, and immediately all those product names, which are actually very particular, go to the relevant warehouse system of that project. So they can manage their supplies, they can manage their materials digitally with this so-called intelligent delivery note. We've been on the market in Poland for 2.5 years. We have now, and Hungary, and we have now more than 130 paying customers and roughly 600 free customers. So the subcontractors in the ecosystem actually using the product for free. So we managed to work with some of the largest brands. If you're not familiar with construction, these are actually some of the largest brands in this market. And on the very bottom, I will read it to you. So Europe's number 2, Hochtief, which is present in Poland, is a client. Vinci from France, that's Europe number 3. And Europe number 4 is Bouygues from France. Their Polish branches are our clients. So it seems that there is a real need for this product, and we want to scale further. And our revenues, I was not allowed to share exact details, but the growth you can see. And you can see that, Hungary, Poland, we started a little bit later, so still we have more business in Hungary. Roughly, we are at 1 million euro ARR, and we have tripled last year, and hopefully we're going to repeat that this year. We have some beautiful quotes from some customers. So we believe we can triple our MRR. In the last year, we tripled it. This year, we hopefully triple it, and hopefully next year as well. We have a mixed team of Polish and Hungarian former enterprise sales guys or construction people. So, we want to bring people from construction and as well as from enterprise software. So I want to leave you with this. Maybe this is let's leave that for discussions. Any questions or any comments? You're going to ask questions or yes? Come on, join me. I'm so alone here. Come on. Here's a mic.
for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, so first of all, Adam, thank you very much for the presentation.
Yes.
Can you tell us something more maybe about the competition? Because I really missed it in the slides, and this market is getting pretty crowded, especially that you're targeting just 2 countries. How does it look like on a broadened scale, and what are your really target market? Is it only the CEE or those 2 countries, or maybe broaden Europe?
Okay, so short term, we want to focus on Central Europe. And why? Because we think that Central Europe is underserved. Central European construction companies are way much less developed than Western European ones in terms of digitization, so they don't have a backend system. Our Western European competitors assume that you're going to have a backend system, basically an SAP or something, and almost nobody in Central Europe has that, so we need to build more functionalities. So it's sort of a regional play for the next couple of years, and then we want to move to Western Europe. We want to reach between 5 and 10 million ARR, and then move to Western Europe. Competitors. I've been in digital, in enterprise software for 25 years. I've never seen a market with such a few amount of competitors. If you talk precisely on construction process automation or digitization, we count maybe 3 or 4 players, and the penetration of the product is maybe 5% or 10%. So it's not really about competition. In fact, we don't mind competition because everybody's just teaching the clients to use a system. But basically, we have 2 Polish startups that are competitors, and we have a large German player that is now going global, so they're probably not going to focus so much on Poland. And we have another German player that has some presence. So basically, 4 or 5 players. And again, this will be one of the largest enterprise software markets.
And how about the market segment, either with the geography or the customer segments?
Yeah, so the reason why construction is not digitized is because it's segmented like crazy. So you have there are many reasons. One reason is that it's segmented. So you have the developer, you have the investor, you have the developer, you have the quality inspector, you have the general contractor, you have the subcontractor, you have the subcontractor, and then you have the material supplier. So all these players. And for each material category, you have different suppliers. And these players only come together for maybe 6 months. I mean, maybe a project is 1.5 years, but they only come together for 6 months or maybe 8 months. So there's no way to integrate, right? Plus, the market is not concentrated at all. So the largest player here in Poland maybe has, the largest developer maybe has less than 5%. I think he maybe even 2 or 3% of the market. And anyone can start a general contractor company, right? So the largest general construction company, I don't think has 1% of the market. So we really need a different approach than, let's say, in the car manufacturing, right? In the car manufacturing, all the players integrate to each other, right? They have long-term contracts. Bosch works with Mercedes for decades, right? And they tender the product that they're going to ship 10 years from now. Here they tender the product that you need to ship next week. And they can only work together for 6 months. So you need to have different approach. So the SAPs and the Microsofts will not cut it at this point.
I want to touch something that it was really funny for me to see a chart with no numbers. So yes. This is a new, or we rarely see that thing. So
innovative.
Innovative, because everybody wants to see a hockey stick, like growing like crazy, but what's the real numbers?
Yeah.
I will not ask you about the numbers because you said that you don't want to.
I can tell you why there is no number. In fact, yesterday there was numbers.
Okay.
And we have a due diligence right now going on.
Okay.
And I said like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with that. But I can tell you we are around 1 million ARR.
Okay. That's like, because this is also in the mentoring part, like.
Of course.
And can you speak a little bit more on the business model side? How you actually, because you said 500 users are freemium or using it for free and 100 paying. So what's the percentage and from what you actually make the revenue? Okay,
so first of all, it's classic, software as a service, right? So monthly fee with usually annual contracts, right? People can start with pay as you go, so they don't need to commit for a year. But then once they commit, they get a discount. So basically, it's worth to commit for, let's say, 12 months contract. But it's a classic software as a service. Now, don't misunderstand. The free users are not there because we have a freemium model where people will upgrade. No, those free will stay free forever. So basically, in order to digitize a whole project, You need to digitize the developer, the general contractor, the subcontractor, the sub-subcontractor. Now, these sub-subcontractors, you will never get money from, okay? They don't even pay their T-Mobile bill, okay? So they will not pay for software. At least that's not going to be our business, right? So for them, we give it for free. We charge the general contractor and the developer and the quality inspector. So the reason why construction is not digitized, again, is because so many players have to be in one common data environment for a short period of time and then change to another project and another project.
Well, you're creating infrastructure for the development world, which is hard, and maybe that's why there is so little digitalization in this space.
Exactly. However, on the other hand, labor costs are skyrocketing, and material costs are skyrocketing. So companies 10 years ago probably said, well, I don't need to digitize, I'm just going to hire 5 more people, who cares? Now those 5 more people are in London, right? You cannot hire them, and they cost 3 times as much. So they are very much looking for the solutions. So this is happening now. Plus what we see is that the labor is actually also looking for companies that can provide them tablets, right? So once you work with the tablet on your construction as a site manager, they cannot hire you if they tell you, oh, by the way, and you need to go back to paper, right? So, yeah, but the labor market is also driving that, and definitely the material market. I mean, the prices are really going up. Energy is going up, so.
I'm also really curious what you said about the segmentation of the market, because recently I had the case in maybe a little bit different industry coming to the supply chain traceability and visibility, and you said that in your industry it's also taking time to connect all of those players to the solution. So how long the implementation really takes in order to be a value for a client?
That's the key, right? So what we do is we have such a flexible system where on many projects, only, let's say, the general contractor is digitized, right? He buys the solution, he doesn't wait for the developer, then he doesn't use maybe the parts of the document management that would involve the architects, right? He does his own thing, issue management, equipment management, and he invites for free all his subcontractors. On some other project, the developer starts the project, and then the whole planning and design phase already has digital document management, reviewing the new revisions and so forth. And then they can also switch back and forth, right? So you will never digitize a project if you say, I'm only going to digitize it once everybody's on board, everybody is trained. Another example, for every player, we have 2 alternatives. One, he's part of the system, then he gets all the information on his mobile or web or whatever, or Microsoft OneDrive. Or he's not on the system, then he gets the same information via emails, right? So you don't need to wait until everybody is trained, everybody is on board. Because once you have a construction, you don't have time to wait. So we actually set up a project in a week, but then we go deeper and deeper and deeper. So one project might start with, let's say, €300 monthly fee. The same project will pay €600, plus there will be another company paying for the same project, like the developer or other companies. So it's a land and expand. You need to be able to start. On some projects, only the quality inspector uses it. So you have to have, and then once they all start using it, they are, of course, reaping more benefits.
Do we still have time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said you're in due diligence. Does that mean that you don't have an ask towards the audience or the investors?
It's an early stage due diligence, like pre-due diligence. Yeah, we are raising right now 5 million. We are trying to raise 5 million, and we are in discussions with several VCs. And our goal is to first become #1 in Central Europe. So basically in 4 markets we have in mind, and after that to go to Western Europe. And that's our business plan.
Thank you very much for the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For your questions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, who is ready for the next scale up? We're going to have a presentation made by Frisbo. So please welcome him on stage, and some energy, please.